Hello and welcome back to the New Dig Norfolk Gardener. Now as we approach the end of June, beginning of July, what I want to turn my attention to now is what I'm going to eat in November, December, January, February, March, April of next year. And with that in mind, I've selected certain seeds. Most of these I actually haven't ever grown before, so it's going to be new to us. And if you also want to get the maximum out of your plot, then you can grow along with us. It's not too late to sow, even if you're seeing this a week or so later. Now, we do like a bit of cauliflower in this family. The last time you saw me sow some cauliflower, we sowed a variety that was called Autumn Giant. And I did one row of those, but I now want to sow a second row. These will come ready October, November, and indeed into the beginning of December, depending on when you sow them. So that's going to give me that continuity of heads, hopefully, as we go through October, November, and into the beginning of December. And the next variety that I want to try and sow is a variety called Snow March. This one is an F1, and it should harvest February and March. So you can see there's a theme going on here. I'm trying to get things that are going to follow on from month to month so that we always have a fresh vegetable in the ground that we can harvest. And then the last variety of cauliflower that what I want to sow is one that's called Alsmeer, and that should harvest April and May. And of course, as we all know, that's the hungry gap. That's when there's actually very little in the ground to eat. And we've never managed to do that before, so we really want to have a go at it this year and ensure that we have food to eat all year round. And for me, I thoroughly believe that because we've gone over to New Dig, I can do this because our soil is healthy and it should be able to feed those plants and see those through to their harvest. We harvested some Pak Choi couple of 3 weeks back. We finished that harvest, and I now want to sow some more so that these will become ready in the next 5 to 6 weeks, ready for us to be able to use for our stir fries. It's a variety called Blizzard. It's an F1. Again, I've never grown this before. This was actually a free pack of seed that was actually sent along with an order that I made earlier in the year. So, and it does say that it's a British bred variety and has been developed to grow well in our summer conditions, and it should be slow to bolt. And any of you that have grown Pak Choi throughout the year, you'll know that it's very prone to bolting, so I'll be extremely interested to see how this goes. We harvested our Calabrese, and we grow a variety called Marathon, and this can be sown all the way up to June and indeed into the beginning of July. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to make a sowing of one row, which I hope will ultimately harvest sometime in October, and then next month in July I'm going to sow enough for another row, which will hopefully harvest during November. Cabbages, we really like our cabbage. We actually really like our greens in this family. You've seen me harvest this before, the Savoy King. It's another F1 variety. This one's not particularly suitable for overwintering, but it can be grown for most of the year, and one of the reasons I grow this for is because I can get a harvest of Savoy cabbage during the summer season. So I'm going to sow another row of these now, which will hopefully again be ready for us to eat sometime during October. Then I want to sow a variety called Winter King. Now, I've never sown this one before either, but it should harvest during October and November. And if you remember when we did some succession sowing a few videos back, I sowed a variety called Ormskirk, which should harvest during the latter part of November, December, and into the beginning of January. Apparently these Winter Kings stand really well, so they should stay in the ground until I want them. And then of course, purple sprouting broccoli. So we're going to grow some claret. It's an F1 variety. And from what I've seen when other people have grown it, it really harvests quite abundantly. The only reason we haven't grown this before is that in the past we haven't been able to overwinter things in our garden when we weren't no dig. And this doesn't harvest until April or May next year. So it would also be tying up the ground for long periods. But now that we've been no dig for a couple of years now, and we know where the spaces are becoming available and what we can then grow after this, we're now in a situation where we can grow this variety. And again, April and May is when the hungry gap appears. And then the last variety I want to be able to sow today is another purple sprouting broccoli. And you have seen this, it's a variety called Rudolph. And if you remember, if you've been a follower of our channel, that we posted a video back last December when this began to harvest, and we were getting harvest from our Rudolph purple sprouting broccoli from late December through January and into February. But if you are new to the channel, you haven't seen that before, then go back and watch that video. You'll find it amongst the playlists, in the harvest playlist, and you'll be able to see just how good this harvest was. Oh, that's the seed sown. And we'll give them a good watering to set them on their way. Now, one of the real advantages of starting your seed off now, while we're waiting for crops in the garden to harvest and to finish so that we can have them out, these will already have 4 to 5 weeks growth on them. So you're already growing them now. You're not waiting until something is finished and then sowing them and hoping that they come. They're already going to be starting to grow. They'll be 4 to 5 weeks ahead. Now that I've sown the seed, what I want to be able to do now is to actually harvest some of our peas. Now, we've been harvesting them for the last couple of weeks or so as we want them, but you can see there are masses on here, and if you harvest them at the right time and keep picking them regularly, they will reflower and you will get another flush and some more peas. And if you remember, this variety is a variety called alderman. It's a really tall growing variety. And the tops are pinched out from this, so that means it won't really more. It's bushed out, and that's really why we have so many peas. It really is a wash with them. We should take this harvest and then we should show you exactly what we've got when we've just done. So you can see we've got purple sprouting broccoli, claret and Rudolph. We've got the cabbages, Winter King, Savoy King, the Calabrese Marathon, and then our cauliflowers, Alsmeer, Snow, March and Autumn King. And of course what we do want is some more Pak Choi, because we do like to use that with our stir fries. Now, do let us know what you're going to be growing as your successional plants. Please leave us comments down in the comments box below. We do love getting all your comments so that we know what you're up to. And as we go through the rest of this year, we can all share our thoughts on what's happening, what's worked, what hasn't worked. And yeah, then we start to build up a really good picture of what's good to grow and what's not good to grow. As I say, a lot of these varieties I've never grown before, So I'll be really interested to see how these perform and what sort of harvest we get. And in this day and age, of course, when things are actually getting quite expensive, food in the shops here in the UK is actually quite expensive. It's going up all of the time. It's good to be able to grow your own, and if we can get the maximum out of our plots all through the 12 months of the year, so much the better. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give us a thumbs up, and if you do like what we do, then don't forget to subscribe by hitting that big red button there down below. And we shall see you on the next video.